Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first Traffic Talk pod show for the match review of the UEFA Champions League game between Manchester United and RB Leipzig. An absolutely incredible performance by the United team tonight. 5-0 win, a Rashford hat trick, a top quality performance defensively by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side. We're going to cover all that and more here on this show. Myself, Ahmed Nur 94. You can see myself and everyone else who's joined us here this evening. First, I want to introduce my co-host this evening, which is Mr. Cam Lowe. It's lovely to have you here, Cam.
What's going on? What's going on? How we doing? Feeling good.
Very good, very good. Nice to have you here, Cam. He'll be supporting us. And our free guest this evening. Now, first and foremost, we brought in Jordan. He's one of our first guests on the show. Jordan, lovely to have you here.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Well for you. Yeah, great. Lovely to have you, pal. We've also got Des, who's come from many miles away, but it's lovely to have you here too, Des.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Excellent. And Noah, who's currently muted, but he will... Oh, there he is. Noah McElroy is also joining us this evening. Nice to see you here, Noah, as well.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. Lovely to join you all here today. After such a great performance, looking forward to discussing it all. So, yeah, let's get
Excellent.
into it. Yeah.
Let's go. So, I've got 5 things to know, which we'll be covering here this evening. First and foremost, straight away, we've got a comment from Peter Harrison. World-class performance by the chaps today. It was a top-class performance. And big props to the boys. Let's get on with it. We start with, obviously, what captured the evening, really. For a long time at 1-0, people thought we were going to struggle to that 1-0 win. Leipzig were putting pressure on our back line. Oli sends on Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. And sure enough, Rashford suddenly just lit the house on fire, scoring a hat-trick in just about 15 or so minutes. What a fantastic performance from the lad. And he deserved the match ball as United transfer a 5-0 win here tonight. First and foremost, Cam, I want to hear it from you. How impressed are you with Marcus's performance tonight? And it was a key performance as well.
Listen, MBE, Sir Marcus Rashford. That man is feeding children. He fed Martial for that goal. He's feeding everybody tonight. He's feeding all England. Listen, you got to get behind this kid. He's doing it all right now. I mean, if you think about the contributions he's had in the last 9 games, it's like 9 goal contributions in 9. That's how you judge a center forward, because Rashford he's not a natural winger. He's not a striker. He's just a center forward, and that's how you judge him. What he does on the pitch when it comes to goal contributions, how he elevates the team. I mean, the fact that we brought Rashford on, that, I'll get into that, but Ollie, we got to put some respect on our manager's name. I'm tired of people talking about him being a PE teacher. It's done. That's dead banter now. So that's how I feel about Marcus Rashford. What a performance. There's so much to talk about and unpacking it. I'm excited, boys. I'm feeling good.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that one, Cam. Jordan, I want to hear from you too, mate. He literally came off the bench and tore the Leipzig defense apart there. So give me your thoughts on Marcus Rashford's performance this evening.
I think it's absolutely fantastic performance off the bench. I think we've seen in the past Marcus Rashford can have these explosive moments. I think back to the game against Liverpool where he scored twice at Old Trafford. We've not really had a moment like that for a while. I think this was a real kind of coming of age moment for Marcus Rashford tonight.
Absolutely. Just also wanted to get your thoughts on, obviously, the fact that once he'd come off the bench, the dynamic of the game had quickly changed. But prior to that, obviously, Leipzig had a foothold in the game. They were creating chances. They had a lot of their tall defenders and attackers on the pitch. They even threw on Alex Sorloth to add a little bit more in their attack from set pieces. But clearly, bringing Rashford on changed the game and swung it back in United's favour.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on, Des.
On you go.
Okay. All right. I think Rashford has that ability to always, impose games. When games are not going well for us, he has done it time and time again. Right from when he came onto the scene under Luis Van Gaal till now, Rashford has always been that player to, do things that so many other players may be afraid to do. Like, looking at Tony Martial today, at times he was shying away from the ball. Tony Martial has that knack of always hiding in games. I don't know, so many fans would disagree, but to me, That's exactly what I see. And if you have seen if you have seen the narrative on Twitter, I think in the last 6 months, there has been this notion that Tony Marshall has been exceptional in 2020. But I mean, just 10 minutes ago, I just saw the fact that Tony Marshall has actually scored 13 goals in the calendar year of 2020. Same thing as Marcus Rashford. So where is this Marcus Rashford that's been trashed since football resumed from coronavirus and all that? So I'm asking people, where is it coming from? So fair play to Marcus Rashford. Big ups to him. MB, Sir Marcus Rashford. Come on.
Fantastic, obviously, and Des is clearly showing his enthusiasm now. We love it here. We'd love to have more of that on our shows, hopefully, with more positive results. Noah, I'll come to you now. You've waited the longest for your opinion. Give me your thoughts on Marcus' performance. I'm sure, like the rest of us, you were just speechless for that one. I've lost for words myself.
Yeah, 100%. A fantastic performance for Marcus Rashford to come off the bench in 27 minutes to score a hat-trick. The first time, really, that has been done since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer against Nottingham Forest in 1999. Just shows the influence not only that Marcus Rashford can have on a game, but also Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a coach, and he deserves that. I don't know if any of you saw it when Marcus Rashford was coming on, but he basically gave him some instructions and told him that RB Leipzig were overloading the right-hand side of the play, especially in the second half. So he basically told Marcus Rashford when to come on to hold his width down to the right, which was their left, and exploit the space, and that really resulted in his hat-trick tonight. So big props again, which I think is what Cam said, to Solskjaer, because without his advice tonight, I don't think Marcus Rashford would have made as big as impact as he could. So I think of course, big props to Marcus Rashford, big props to the rest of the team, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, hands down for me, should take the full credit for tonight's performance.
Well said, Noah. Well said. And I feel like we should move on to that point on this part of the show. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's been in the past criticised most of the time, not only by many a pundit, but also on the social media for the decisions he makes, the substitutions, the players he picks. Half the time, people think he doesn't know what he's doing. But he's now starting to show a lot of tactical nous, a lot of knowledge for the game, picking the players that he feels can do that job, and they are performing as well. And tonight, he's pretty much, the best way I could put it is he embarrassed Julian Nagelsmann tonight. He embarrassed him. Absolutely. So, lads, I want to hear it from you. How do you feel about Solskjaer's performance tonight and how he completely rinsed the young German in the dugout this evening?
Let me speak on this because I want to land on this because everybody's been talking about his selections throughout the week and what he was doing and how that didn't make sense. Ollie has navigated this run of games perfectly. The fact that he was playing Dan James and Juan Mata was exactly for these moments. So he could have a fresh Marcus Rashford. So he could have a Bruno come off the bench. And by the way, when Bruno was coming off the bench, I don't know about you guys, but when he did that little hair flip back, it was like he just knew he was coming on it to do damage. Like remember the days when we would sit back and we would watch Pereira come on, we'd watch Lingard come on, we'd watch whoever. All he has done in the last few games, the best man management job I've seen for a manager that we've had in a long time. He has made it clear to the team that they're fighting for everybody. They're fighting for him too. Think about it. He was dead 3 games ago. Ollie was dead. We were getting briefed by Ed Woodward saying, listen, the team doesn't believe in his tactics, this or that. That was not coming from the players. And then you had Bruno obviously come out and deny all of that. So I just wanted to make sure that people understand that he's not a PE teacher. This man has tactics. He knows what he's doing out there. Are we going to win the Champions League this year? Probably not. Are we going to win the league? Probably not. But I can see progression. I know exactly what he's trying to do, and we're starting to see it on the pitch. We're starting to see those patterns of play. We're starting to see, like Noah said, the instruction being given. You know how many people I've seen on Twitter be like, Ollie doesn't manage during the game because he sits and looks at the screen? It's like, I'm sorry, a lot of managers look at the screen so they can see what's going on and take different looks at the pitch. You don't get so it's like people saying he's not managing the game as it goes. Today was a perfect example. As soon as it started slipping away from us, he made the right changes, and they did exactly what was necessary. they killed the game, which we're not seeing a lot of teams do in Europe right now. We're seeing a lot of rebuilds happening, and right now, I think Ollie's got it spot on personally right now. That for me, he's the manager for the future as it stands.
Yeah, Peter Harrison seems to agree with you there, Cam. As Mr. Cameron Lowe said, put some fucking respect on Ollie's name, and he is overdue some right there. So thanks for your comment there, Peter. Noah, I want to hear it from you. You seem to know that the changes he made were key at the time of the game, especially with that overload down the right-hand side. They were starting to put pressure on the back line again, and they were seeming to get in behind our midfield as well, which was a bit of a worry, even though they did get their shape right to the end. So there were moments where we were in a bit of trouble. But it was important that Solskjaer got the tactics right tonight, and he's gone back to that trusted diamond that did him well during his early stages as United manager. So talk to me how you saw his tactical performance this evening.
Well, initially, one of the things I said before the game was that as Leipzig had recently played against, I think, Hertha Berlin in the Bundesliga, and they won 2-1, and Hertha were using a diamond similarly, and especially in the midfield, they were getting pockets, like, they were getting pulled apart. Leipzig were running through with pace and power, and it looked really troublesome. So, and when there was rumours coming out a few hours before the game that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to utilise the diamond formation, I was slightly worried. I'm not going to lie, and especially when I saw, Marcus Rashford out, Bruno Fernandes out, it was slightly worrying. But you know what? I'll hold my hands up. My initial response was slightly worrying, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer proved me wrong. He proved, as Cam said, a lot of other people wrong, and he deserves full credit for that. The tactics were spot on tonight. I think the diamond is a really good formation that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should use a bit more throughout the season. It helps United a lot with rotation and resting. As we saw tonight, he was able to rest the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, something that if you said to someone 6 months ago that we'd be able to put Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes on the bench, they would, they think you're some kind of like weird person. Honestly, seriously, man, like the bench to have, when Manchester United are 4-0 up in the Champions League against such a quality team like RB Leipzig with such a quality manager such as Nagelsmann, to bring on the likes of Edison Cavani just to rub salt into the wounds, that just shows how far Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side has come. And I think, like I said, he deserves all the praise for that. Tactically spot on with the formation, spot on with the substitutions, and United in supposedly the group of death have all 6 points.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. This time last year, we were bringing the likes of Jones, Pereira, and Igala off the bench to help us salvage the result from the middle of from somewhere. I don't know how we would do it, but here we are now with the privilege, even though it is 5 substitutions in the Champions League. Fernandes, Pogba, Marcus Rashford, Donny van der Beek, to name a few of the players. The depth is starting to show. It's not going to please everyone who we have on the bench, but I'm absolutely sure, like I'm sure many of you will, that we are starting to see a squad developing here, and it's very good to see. Des, I wanted to come to you. Well, how do you feel about Ollie's performance tonight, and what are your thoughts about him currently in the United job?
Okay, I would say this. In the most difficult moments of Ole's time as United manager, he has always come good. If you can take our minds back to when we faced PSG in France, when Marcus Rashford got that penalty at the end. So many people will always say, yeah, Ole got his tactics spot on that night. Marcus Rashford got the winning goal, or hey Rashford and all that. But I've seen just few people say this. Our 2 less talented midfielders, Fred and McTominay, in the biggest games, they always deliver. If you can take your mind back to when we beat Manchester City at the Etihad, when we drew, there's more protection for the back line, because if you look at the beginning of this season, Pogba looked lost initially, and the first thing Ole did was to bring Fred back into the fold, and also bring McTominay. We saw what both of them did at PSG. Both of them did at PSG last week, and again tonight we saw the tenacity of Fred covering every blade of grass, fighting for every ball, and now that has made Pogba, wake up, and we are seeing the best of Pogba. So it's easy to say, yeah, I only got his tactics spot on and all that. But then again, I'll say we should give praise to Fred. For me, he has always, come good whenever we need him. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree. Fred has been a immense player, and I'm surprised that for a while during not only last season but this season as well, he wasn't involved as much. He's starting to show now. He has a massive role to play in his team. Jordan, in regards to the opposition, obviously, Ollie obviously making sure that we beat them and beat them good. But I wanted you to talk about the two centre halves. One that we're targeting, obviously, in the Upper Mekana and Ibrahima Kanate, the other French centre half. Those two being hyped a little bit, being the more futuristic stars, next big things at centre back. But tonight they were completely ripped apart by that United midfield and attack.
To be fair, I think the defensive shortcomings of Leipzig was more to do with the midfield collapse, and I think Upamecano performed very well, especially in the first half. I thought he was as solid as I've seen a centre-back in Europe this season, other than obviously when he allowed Mason Greenwood to run away from him to score the goal. But I think Upamecano is definitely a player that Man United should be targeting in January. I think he's got all the qualities of the modern centre-back. He's big, he's fast, he can play the ball, he can run out from the back with the ball. I think he'd be a ideal partner to Maguire in terms of his pace. I think that's the one thing that Maguire really lacks is pace off the ball, just in a sprint. So Konate as well, to be fair, other than I think in the first 65 minutes of the game, both centre-backs were very impressive. And then obviously it all fell apart after that, but I think that still, it doesn't change my mind that Upamecano is definitely would be the ideal target for Man United in January.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. To all of you, obviously, even it looks a bit unlikely we'll bring him in sooner rather than later. But to all of you, how important do you think? How important is it that United bring the caliber of defender as such of Upamecano into the club? Obviously, tonight didn't have a good game, but that was given the fact we did so well later on in the second half. But as a player, he has such great quality on the ball. He's got pace, he's got strength, he's confident, he likes to burst forward. He would give Maguire so much time to relax at the back and just do the defensive work and the aerial threat. But I want to hear from you guys. It's likely that in 2021, United will go for him despite a lot of competition. Do you think, though, we will be able to get him just because we're not very good against other clubs when it comes to chasing players?
So I got thoughts on
I'll
it.
let Cam speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass it over to you, Noah. After I got thoughts on that because we're talking a lot about the opposition's defense, but our defense is highly underrated. If we're going to be honest, like tonight we did keep a clean sheet. We did keep a clean sheet against Chelsea. I'm expecting our form to come back. People always did. The amount of slander that came into our defense, even though we were the third best defense statistically in Europe last year, in the top leagues, we were the third best defense. I do believe a player like Upamecano will make us better, but I do not believe he's going to walk right into the team the same way Donny van de Beek hasn't. And unfortunately, there's some news I heard about Tellus earlier that he's got coronavirus, so he's probably not going to be seen for a while. Yeah. I do believe currently the way our defense is structured, we are okay, but of course, we are United and we need to get better. So bringing in Upamecano, he's the perfect target because he's 21 years old. But yes. If you think about the best like center backs in Europe, 21 years old that's a young age to really be given the mantle. So as much as I want to see him, and I think he will be a great partner for Maguire, I think people need to temper their expectations if we do land him, because I do not believe he'll just start and kick on right away in the Premier League. Because as much as I know what Jordan was kind of saying there, a lot of the miscomings were on the midfield. He did get turned around quite a bit. Get turned around. Marcus Rashford put him to task tonight, and that's going to happen when you go up against great defenders. I mean, great offensive players. That's going to happen when you go up against great forwards. Plain and simple. That's going to happen more often than not. You don't see it as much when he's playing in Germany because you don't have the quality that the Prem's going to have. But I think he is the target we should be going after because of his age and the profile that Ahmed's already kind of talked about. But yeah, Noah, you were going to say, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to mention the thing that makes me, attracts me for Manchester United to sign a quality centre-back such as Deo Upamecano is not only his qualities that we saw tonight, especially in the first 60-65 minutes, when he was defending well against the likes of Anthony Martial, Mason Greenwood and Donny van der Beek, but his rumoured price tag and his release clause, which is set to be around £40 million, for such a quality centre-half at such a young age, I think is why a big factor in why so many teams are interested. The likes of Bayern Munich, Manchester City, potentially Barcelona too, is a big factor. And I think today, despite him obviously conceding 5 goals, and I think for one of the goals, I think Marcus Rashford's second, Marcus Rashford absolutely turned him inside out, and it did not look good for him. But I still have faith that if Manchester United were to sign Deo Upamecano from RB Leipzig, either in January or next summer probably looks more likely, that he could slot in. And who knows, he could play alongside Maguire, he could play alongside Tuanzebe. And the thing is, I think as well that one thing that he'd help is being in the Champions League last year, and he'll be in the Champions League this year. He'll give some of the younger centre-halves coming through the club, like Tuanzebe and Tiedemann Mengi as well, which is a bright prospect that we've got. He'll give them some quality experience, something that I've been seeing a lot with Edison Cavani, especially when Manchester United played PSG last week in the Champions League. It's no coincidence that Tuanzebe had such a great game when he had Edison Cavani, a former PSG player, an experienced player, teaching him how to defend against such quality attackers such as Mbappe and Neymar. But I think Upamecano would be a great signing, and I think Manchester United should definitely get it done, especially for a price of £40 million. That's a bargain in today's market. So yeah, I definitely think we should go for him.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. But we'll have to be a bit more patient there, Noah. Jordan, Des, you guys, have you got any thoughts about whether Upamecano will be straight into the first team, or do you think he'll be on the fringes, much like what we've seen with Van der Beek and co?
I just want to come back to what Cam was saying about Man United's defence. I mean, obviously we've done well over the past 3 games, but you only have to go back 2.5 weeks where we conceded 11 goals in 3 Premier League games, 6 at home to Spurs. So I don't think we should overly write Upamecano off for conceding 5 tonight, when then you can go back and you can see that Maguire conceded 6 to Spurs.
That's a red card, though. Let's not leave out the red card. Yeah, 10 men.
A red card to the striker. It's not really got much to do with the defensive shape. I think no one would argue that the defence was a total shambles that day. Yeah. I don't think anyone can comment. I just think that, fair enough, we've been performing well defensively in the past few games, but I think Upamecano would definitely be a fantastic addition to the team.
Yeah, and Des?
Yeah, I would say competition, brings out the best in players. I mean, you can see what's happening at Spurs right now. Who would have believed a player like Sergio Aurier would turn into prime Dani Alves? I mean, so I would say competition brings out the best in players. If we get to Upamecano, it automatically means that Lindelof would have to wake up, and Harry Maguire would have to prove that he's really an £80 million player. To be honest, I feel he has not proved his worth. That price tag was supposed to bring a centre back that was supposed to entirely change our defense. Sort of the impact that Virgil van Dijk had at Liverpool. That was what we expected from Harry Maguire. And to be fair, he has done well. I mean, in parts last season, we could see that, this guy is a quality defender. But then again, there are times that he plays like he's the second coming of Hugh Jones. So I feel, if Upamecano comes, definitely he's going to improve us. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very fair point.
I want to touch on that because I know he didn't completely transform our defense, but again, if you think about before he came, what our defense looked like we have short memories. Our defense before Maguire came, before AWB were on our team, we were 6th in the league or 7th in the league. We conceded, I think, like the 8th most goals in the league or something.
Keep talking, Cam. I'll find it for you.
Find those stats for me because we were absolutely god awful. Like, we were really bad. We had Jose as our manager, who was a defensive manager and who wanted him. I agree with you. He's highly inconsistent. He does have some of those moments where he doesn't show up. But at the end of the day, it's because we don't have the right partner for him. Him and Lindelof are carbon copies, in my opinion. of each other. They're basically the same center back. You need a different type beside him. And I agree with you. Bringing in and up McConnell is going to add. In the years of our best times, we've always had four great center backs. We've always had four great center forwards. We've never really had this world where if one of our center backs gets hurt, we're in trouble. And that's basically where we're at. So as much as I agree with you on he's not worth 80 million, it will never be. I'm sorry, he will never be worth 80 million. But that was the cost of doing business because Man City was in for him, and we had no way of competing with Man City at the time unless we paid over the odds. He said, I'm happy just to go to Manchester because I'm in Leicester. He's smart. Unlike you're seeing like some of the Leicester guys who didn't leave and didn't take their move, they're stuck there. Harry Maguire's like, yo, I'm out. I'm going to a big club. This is my chance. Aaron Myers did the same thing. So I agree with you. He's not worth 80 million. He's not. But I don't think he's this bust that people would make him out to be. Like that's the thing. I get it. He makes mistakes and he's a great scapegoat, but he's nowhere near as bad as people make him out to be based on just statistics.
But don't forget this. Sorry, Ahmed. Don't forget this. Right. I think it's unfair to compare last season to the 18-19 season. The 18-19 season was a season of turmoil. We started Jose Mourinho, we got Ole. So it's not really fair if we use the defensive stats from that season. Let's go back to the season we finished second, the 17-18. If I'm not mistaken, we considered 27 goals in the Premier League, and I think that was the second best defense in the Premier League. And who were our defenders? Smalling, Jones, Lindelof, and Eric Bailly, and Marcos Rojo. So those five defenders could actually. So many fans would say, yeah, David De Gea was exceptional. He was Superman. Yeah, definitely. But those five defenders could do very well in that season. And now saying Maguire, Maguire obviously turned our season around compared to the 18-19 season. I feel if we are giving him all the plaudits, I don't think it's really fair, to be honest. I don't
Not
think
all.
so.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. AWB too. I agree. He doesn't deserve all the plaudits. It was right back and him. I just think like when fans talk about him as the fridge or whatnot, and then you see today when the fridge stood man's up and just dropped dude. I can't remember who it was that he just looked at him like a child. It's like those are the I'm like, all right, let's go. Like this is my center back. This is my captain. So I stand behind our players, and I agree. We do need speed beside him. We do need something different. I just think it's as fans, and we get sucked into the media. We get sucked into all the guys in the mainstream media and like just going off about how Maguire's not worth 80 million. We know that. No smart United fan in the world thinks Harry Maguire was worth $80 million. That's insane. Like I agree with it, but we had to pay it. You had to pay, just like if we wanted Sancho, we had to pay what, 200 million. We didn't do it. So it's like some people aren't worth their cost, but it's the cost of doing business in the world. Like especially today's football atmosphere. That's the cost of doing business to get good players in. When Van Dijk was bought, I have a question for all of you. What did you say when you saw the price tag when Virgil van Dijk?
Overrated.
No, I'll be honest.
Overpriced.
I'll be honest. When Van Dijk signed for Liverpool, I thought that was their infinity stone, the last one they needed in that defense. They still didn't get Alisson at the time. They still had Karius. But even still, the amount that Liverpool paid for him, even in my eyes, was literally ludicrous. But they knew that Coutinho was leaving. They'd agreed to do with Barcelona. They thought we need to cash in quickly, get that defender Klopp wanted. Look how he's transformed them ever since. Yeah, sometimes spending a little too much money does, frustrate the fan or two. I won't lie to you. I don't know about you. I didn't want Sancho to come this summer, but look what's happening in Germany now. You can see they're about to go into a second lockdown. There might be a bit of problems for the finances of Dortmund there, so they might have to force the initiative here. You never know. I wasn't sure. Yeah, it's strange things happening. But let's just say you have Cam does have a point. Like we did struggle, and Des said it too. We did struggle in the 2 seasons to in 17-18 we didn't win enough games or score enough goals. In the second season, referring to the 18-19 season, we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League, and I think 3 or 4 after that. So, I think in the Champions League as well. So we conceded a fair few goals. It was clear to see Maguire. Yes, the cost was extortionate, but was key to our fortunes last season and us getting into the top 4 because we reduced our goal conceding goals rate and everything else like that. So, I talk all night, but we've got to move on to the next bit. Very important because our show can't last forever, lads. The next one is very simple, and it's practically the man of the match. I don't think this is a debate, lads. I don't think it should be, but who do you think is your man of the match? Now, I'll give you some rain tonight because we know who we're going to pick, so I'll give you a second choice. So that's someone who is a close second to your initial vote.
I'm going with Fred. We know it's Marcus Rashford, so there's no need to say it. But if we're gonna say the second best player on the pitch tonight was probably Fred or Pogba, those two, they bossed the midfield. I mean, when I say Fred, it was the energy, it was the guile. This guy, at every moment, a Leipzig player could not look over their shoulder and not see Fred. And that was such a big part of what helped us win the game. And then Pogba was just class on the ball. Pogba was playing FIFA, man. And that to me, that's the Pogba we love to see. The Pogba that the world loves to hate on. He's a luxury player, this and that. Well, now he's in a team with good players. So those luxuries, I want to see. I want to see the 360s. I want to see the spins, the tricks, the flips. I want to see the through balls. That's what I want to see. So those two to me are 1A and 1B behind, obviously, the guy who's wearing the crown.
Yeah, well, nice one, Cam. Jordan, I'm sorry we've not been able to get a lot of you here this evening. We'll try our best to get you involved more next time. But tell me your choice for man of the match and your second choice as well.
I think it's obvious that Rashford is picked for man of the match, getting a hat-trick off the bench. But I have to say that I think Fred's had better performances in a Man United shirt, to be honest. I think he was good, but he was maybe about an 8 out of 10. I think my second choice would be Paul Pogba. I think he was spectacular from the start. His passing play, then he assisted the first goal, obviously. I think he was extremely good.
Yeah, nice. Very strange to find him on the left wing a lot this evening as well. You might have listened to Gary Neville on Monday night. I don't know. Des, from you as well?
Man of the match, Sir Marcus Rashford, Doctor, MBE, he's the man. I mean, he does it all. For me, he's our best attacker too. None of that Anthony Martial nonsense. I don't want to hear it anymore. Marcus Rashford, and that's it. My second choice for the man of the match, obviously, Fred. I mean, this guy always comes good when we are in trouble. I've said it so many times. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to, appreciate a single player, in the times that his job is in the line, if you look at when we considered 6 against Tottenham, so many fans were saying, Ole is going to be out, Ole is going to be sacked soon, Woodward, do what you know how to do best, get Ole out of here. And me too, I was one of those fans. But then again, Fred has come in, steadied the ship. Now, his performance has automatically made Pogba, get into rhythm. We saw a Pogba in the beginning of the season that looked lost, completely lost. He looked lazy. So many fans were saying he's not fit. He got injured. His mind is in Real Madrid and all that. But since Fred has come into the fold and has steadied the midfield, we are now conceding less. And also thanks to, I don't know if anyone have observed this, but I feel there's a lot of mutual respect and between Pogba and Edison Cavani. I saw some videos between or some videos of Pogba talking to Cavani, and he was listening keenly. That singular moment took me back to when we had a certain Zlatan Ibrahimovic in the club. That superstar that has done it in so many countries. And now he's coming to Old Trafford to tell Pogba that you may be the biggest star in France, but come on, you are still a small boy. Yeah. So Fred for me. Yeah.
Fantastic, nice one, Des, and I appreciate your passion for a Brazilian megastar. Finally, Noah. Again, I'm sure we all know, but what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be Marcus Rashford. The 3 goals in 27 minutes was absolutely insane. A couple of other stats as well. 3 out of 4 take-ons completed, 4 duels won was also great to see. But if I'm going to throw out a couple of wild cards, when I did my player ratings, I gave these 2 players 9 out of 10. David De Gea for his great saves. I think which was one on, I believe, the right wing back. I can't remember.
I think it was Heinrichs.
Yeah. I was just taken aback by Marcus Rashford. That's why I forgot. So I think David De Gea deserves some praise, and also Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He did very well. I think when there was an instance when Angelina was cutting inside, it looked very dangerous. I was quite worried when they were breaking on the attack, especially because Leipzig's main strength is their wide play. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka did what he does best. He makes defending look easy, if you will, for especially for a right back. In my opinion, I'm going to put out the best defensive right back in the world. He still needs to improve on his attacking game, but honestly, he is just so amazing. So well done to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, well done to David De Gea, and obviously well done to Marcus Rashford, MBE.
And congratulations on his new baby. I think you just gave it to him.
Yeah,
we should really congratulate him on that too. I think from us, that's it, I'm afraid, tonight. It's been a great pleasure, and we've been more than happy to provide you with this excellent match review. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you can, please hit the like button. If you're also new here, hit the subscribe button. We're only just starting now, but we're hoping to bring you more quality content like this and other stuff, which will be on the channel very, very soon. But from myself and everyone, we thank you for joining us here this evening, and we hope to see you on Saturday night for the next one against Arsenal. I think it's Sunday night.
Sunday night. I'll be out here Sunday.
Catching me out, Stephen. All right, I'll see you all on Sunday. Until then, everyone, thank you and good night.
Yeah, good night, fam.